Get off your phone. We're trying to start this
We're
thing.
literally
Okay.
trying to start.
All right. Welcome to the Brook Hill podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Today we have the Inslee Norman on the podcast. Everybody's going crazy.
No way, I just did that.
And then
It really
also
throws you
today I'm co-hosted by my oldest daughter, the Olivia Pate.
Your only
Uh,
daughter. Thank you.
my
Thank
only
you.
daughter.
Proud
Yes,
to be here.
yes.
It's an honor.
So basically, Girl Talk with Dave is
yeah,
what
let's go.
is what this
I love
is.
that title.
Dave.
So
Make it the title.
Make it the
yes,
title.
I
Title it.
absolutely love that. Inslee, just to give your bio, you know,
yeah.
Inslee's kind of a big
Bio.
deal. She is Texarkana.
True.
Been to Brook Hill. What were you?
So
Third
actually,
grade, fourth grade?
I came 5th and 6th grade,
Okay.
and then I didn't come back until my graduate year.
Okay.
I know.
Of course.
Yes. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, high maintenance.
Hi.
So, all right. Graduate year. Then you JC'd, 1, 2, 3, third year.
Yes.
And then you ran a cabin
Yes, sir.
this last summer.
Yes.
And then you're back for another summer.
Yes.
Coming up very soon.
I know.
I believe when this airs, we will be in training. So that
Oh,
is
wow.
No
going to
way.
be, or
That's weird to think about.
I
it'll
know.
be really
Like,
close
it's
to,
so soon.
yeah,
So
really
soon.
close to training.
Well,
So,
it's true.
and now you're at Ouachita and you are speech path major.
Yes, sir.
And so why did you choose speech path? What's up with that?
Well, I actually started out, so when I went to early registration, I started out as a nursing major, which I quickly realized that is not what I was going to do. I'd always known that I wanted to work with kids, and so that was really why I thought, oh, nursing, I'll go into pediatrics, I'll go into neonatal nursing. I thought neonatal would be so fun being with the babies,
So
but
cool.
then I had a thought. I was like, that's also really scary.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know if my emotions, my
Yeah.
mental capacity could handle all that, and seeing that every day. So I looked in. Emily McMaster actually
Love
was
Emily.
the one
Actually.
who told me about Speech Path at OBU and just told me how much she loved it and how good the program was. So once I looked into it, 2 weeks before I started my freshman year, I changed my schedule and started going into Speech Path, and I've loved it ever since. Like, I am so content with changing my major.
Yeah.
You know, it was scary at first because I was like, well, if I don't like this, then I'm going to have to change it and
Yeah.
Right.
be on track, try to get going to graduate in 4 years. But it's all worked out, and I've enjoyed it so much.
And you're already working with kids, right?
I am.
You're already getting
Yes,
to do
sir.
that, which that's very like camp,
Right, exactly. So I go every Thursday. So the way OBU does it is, so it's the only undergrad program that you can actually do therapy with your own clients through a supervisor.
That's
That's
cool.
awesome.
And get that hands-on experience before grad school. And so I'm getting these hours of observation of, actually doing the therapy, under my supervisor. And so I go every Thursday to Lakeside Primary with my supervisor, and I get to do therapy with 5 clients. So I'm really
That's so fun.
getting to see all the things and getting experience that I wouldn't have elsewhere, which is I'm just so grateful for, because it's definitely been a lot of learning, scary learning, but it's been good and I love it. The kids are so cute and I just love them.
Well,
It's like camp.
This is
in
real.
York.
You're like full on
This is right.
adulting.
I know.
This is real.
It's really like
It got
going to a
real.
job every
Yes.
Thursday morning. I wake up at the crack of dawn, and I don't do that throughout the week. I go
Welcome.
to class at 9.
Welcome to the fraternity of adulthood, right?
Oh, what a glamorous thing.
I know, I love it. No, it's so funny because, throughout the week I'm waking up, at 8, getting ready, going to class at 9, super laid back, super chill. But then, on Thursday mornings I'm waking up at 6 o'clock, getting ready, driving to
Mhm.
Lakeside. And, I'm getting my morning started. So it's definitely,
Early start.
I didn't actually go today because they went to the zoo. The whole kindergarten went to the zoo.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, thank
Big
you.
deal.
No, thank you.
All the classes.
The whole kindergarten at the zoo?
That's so
13
cute.
You're
kindergarten
bringing the
classes.
zoo
cute.
to the zoo. You know what I'm saying? I mean, can we TBH it just a little
Stop.
bit?
TBH.
I think that would be so. I personally love me some zoo.
I
Like
love
there's
the zoo.
monkeys over there.
Little
Which
Rock
ones?
Zoo.
These are running around. Right?
It's so true, but
Those poor teachers.
Can you have them on a
Right.
leash? I mean,
Yeah.
what if they jump in the line? Like, it's like, you have to,
They have glass walls for
were you
that.
a leash kid?
No,
I wanted her to
no,
be a leash.
I was not a leash kid. Don't
But-
listen.
Right. So I actually got the day off. So
Okay.
I'm like,
Oh.
That's why she's able to grace us with her
Oh.
presence.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's a big deal.
Okay. And then also we got
Poor.
some massive news this last week, right?
Yes.
Because Watchtower OBU is officially starting a dance team.
yes, they are.
And who was on the dance team in high school?
I
And
It's not me.
so who's about to be trying out for the first ever dance team?
know. I am. I'm really excited, really nervous because I'm like, all right, I'm a little rusty, crusty, dusty on my skills.
yep.
But, it's okay. We're going to
You
go
teach
for
classes every week.
it. Okay, true.
She's
I
good.
I do teach.
Okay,
So-
that's good. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And we're gonna have a dance class here
I
at Brook
know.
Hill. So I
Just
mean,
all the dance
Oh,
things.
you're
all
just
the dance
you're
queen.
gonna be ready.
I
She's
know.
the dancing
it's,
queen.
It's so crazy because recently this year I was thinking so much about high school, doing dance. I mean, I did studio dance ever since I was 3 years old. So going into college, I knew that I wanted to stick with dance and do something in the dance area. So I was like, okay, I'll teach at a studio because OBU doesn't have a dance team. I'm not going to try out for cheer because I can't flip and go upside down. I can't do that. I cannot do that. So I was like, I still want that outlet because
Right.
for me, dance is that outlet.
Yep.
And so teaching dance has been great. I've loved it, but it was just like a little nudge from above when this dance team got announced and being able to, hopefully be on a team that is like what I am used to and I love so much. Because, I mean, it's different going from learning the choreography, doing the dance yourself, being able to
Yeah.
better yourself and just, I loved being able to learn a new dance and I'm like, okay, I'm going to nail this one and then hey, we're going to learn another one. Like, it's
Yeah.
just all those skills that you get to keep learning and stuff. And then I was like, okay, teaching dance, a little bit different, coming up with curriculum for my classes, not necessarily doing it myself. And so it's just like, okay, now I get to do it again. It's just so fun to think about. Hopefully that's the case on next Saturday.
That's so
so-
cool.
go
I
ahead,
just want to say that's so cool because from the friend perspective and watching you, it's so cool how God opens doors for your gifts and talents.
Right.
And I think that's the coolest part for me. Watching you has been throughout this year, you telling me oh my gosh, I'm going into school and I'm gonna start teaching dance and I'm gonna do
Right.
these things and being kind of stressed about classes and if that would inflict on school and then watching you
Yes.
nail that and then watching God open another door of you get to be on the first OBU dance team. That's so cool. And then
Right.
you get to lead the first Brook Hill dance activity. I think that's so cool to see
know.
when you live in the Lord's presence and and you live under his blessing and in your life. And I just
Right.
think that's been so cool to see all of those doors get open. So I think that's
Yes.
such a testament of your life and living out what the Lord has for you and what the gifts he's given you and watching that. So anyway, I just want to say that's so cool.
So sweet.
I love that. Now, when you're teaching, do you find yourself in front of the class, trying to be this and that? I would think it would be like that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so true because I'll, make the choreography. I'll come to class with the skills that I want to teach for that day. And it's hard because, at first I'm like, I don't want to get up there and, try to show them. And they think that I think I'm somebody getting up there showing them the skills. But then they'll be like, I just have no idea what you're talking about. Will you demonstrate? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll demonstrate. And so it's super fun because especially with my littles, they're like, Miss Inslee, will you show us how to do this? And I'm like, okay, I will. Okay.
They probably think you're this absolute professional.
Right, they
you
probably
know?
think I'm a
Some
professional and I'm just far
famous.
from
And,
that.
and when you're young, they probably think you're 40 or 50, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
Some
They've asked
50-year-old
me
woman.
many times, are you married? Are you engaged? No.
I'm a grandmother.
Far
You know, I
from
mean,
that.
that's
I'm
how,
a
That's
how
what they
kids see
think.
it.
They
It is
do.
funny how they
It
see
is.
people and being so
I
young.
know.
It's funny.
They're so cute. It's
So
so funny.
my sisters did dance
Mhm.
all growing up. They did the whole thing.
Oh,
They
yeah.
did the tap, the
Dave was a
ballet,
big supporter.
the modern, the
I
jazz.
gotta
Did,
come watch.
is that what you do? And we homeschooled. So do you know how many practices I went and recitals I went to?
Sure.
Don't ask.
I'm sure.
Too many. I was scarred. So
Right.
so
This brings
so
back
you're doing
memories.
all the things when you teach, right?
Right. So in high school, going from studio dance to high school, my studio was really ballet based. And so
Okay.
I grew up technique was like the big thing. It's like once we get down technique, then let's go into tap, jazz, hip hop, lyrical, all those things.
I know what all that means.
Oh yeah.
I've seen all the recitals.
Dave's in it.
Right. And then high school, I was on the drill team. So Texas isn't more like pom squad. It's like drill team, hat, boots, belt, the sparkly fringe get up. And so on the field, we would do like kick, pom, field jazz, and then for competition, we would do military, which everyone's like, what is military?
Yeah, you threw me on that one.
Yeah.
What,
It's all arms. So it's like sharp. It is so funny when I tell people this because in practice, in order to get ready for competition, we would have canned goods. Instead of our palms, we would use canned goods
for weight
to
training?
get our arms strengthened to make
No.
us sharper. Yes, we would do our dance, our palm dance and military dance
I'd be
with
out.
cans.
I'd be out on
Yeah.
that.
And it sure did make us sharper though, and I always think about that. It was so fun. And then we also did novelty, so it's like kind of musical theater, like funny, and then along with jazz, lyrical, all the things, modern. I actually did modern when I got on my high school dance team. We didn't at my studio. We didn't do that, but
Modern
things.
is the no shoes, barefoot only. Look at this guy.
Actually, I thought you were just making stuff up.
right? No,
You know more than I
he's-
do.
He's right.
Yeah, just ask away. My sister had her photo on the wall in the studio, and that was for like 35 years of service that she had given when she was 18. So anyway, yeah.
funny.
So when my sister hears this, she'll probably give me a text.
That's funny.
And so anyway, you came to Brook Hill. That's kind of your, what you did. Now you're an only child.
Yes.
So you grew up. You are the queen of the Norman universe.
Right.
What was that like? What are the challenges of being an only child?
Right.
I have two siblings, two sisters. Olivia has a brother, and so obviously there's a little more of this going on.
Yeah.
But I'm sure everybody wishes they were an only child or wishes they had siblings, and it depends on
Right.
which one you already
No,
have,
that's so
right?
true.
Right. Exactly. So growing up, obviously my parents are the youth leaders at our church. And so ever since I was a baby, I think I went to the first youth trip. They took them to the beach every other year. I was 2 years old when I went. And it was like I had a million brothers and sisters. So when my parents started asking me, like, hey, what do you think about having a sibling? I was like, no. Like, are you crazy? No, that's not even a question.
That's
I
funny.
did not. I was so adamant. I did not want a sibling. I was like, I don't understand what you mean. I have all these brothers and sisters and they love me. So why would I want somebody else?
That's
to, like,
awesome.
I don't need anyone else. I'm good. I'm set. So every time they ask me, I was like, I do not want a sibling. I'm content with all these other people. But now it's funny because now I'm like, ugh, I do wish sometimes that I had a sibling to, text and connect with as I'm off at college, or if I had an older or younger sibling, just being able to connect with them on different parts of life and, having them at family events. I feel like that's one thing is like, I don't have a lot of cousins that are my age. So I do a lot of times, especially in Texarkana, like I have a couple that are in Little Rock and I have a younger cousin, but we're all kind of spread out. We all do our own thing. So it's like at family events, it's like a couple of us. It's not like I have, that close sibling that I'm able to rely on at those, awkward situations.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, okay, it's really quiet. I just wish I had someone to talk to while all the parents are like cooking the food. Okay, cool. And then a more recent thought is like, as I get older, I'm not going to be an aunt to my own blood. It's kind of sad to think about, but I know that I was an only child for a reason, of course, and it's made me so close with my mom and dad. I value my family so much, and I'm just so grateful for the relationship that we've been able to have, and just how they've been able to be there for me and fully devoted to the things that I'm involved in. Like, who knows, I could have had a brother that had a baseball game on the day of my recital, and then there goes my dad to the baseball game, and there goes my mom to the recital. And so I'm so thankful that they've been able to be there for me through all those things and just the support that I've had. And they would have been there whether I had a sibling or not, because that's just how they are.
Yeah.
But is
That's
really
cool. That's a cool perspective.
right, exactly. And so I've loved it. I mean, it's obviously there's good and bad things that you can think of, but it's just how it is. And we're just a little trio. I love going home. I've gone home 6 weekends in a row consecutively. I've been home 6 weekends.
You told me that last week, and I was like, no way.
And my mom yesterday, she was like, can you come home for a doctor's appointment? And I'm like, I mean, like I could, but I'm going to turn around and go back to college because I want to hang out with my friends. It's like,
All
okay.
right, girl. We've had a lot of quality time.
Yes, I love you, but
Sounds like Olivia. She comes home every weekend.
What can we say?
right. I mean, hey, I love it. Hey,
Hey, I've been loving having my mom as
the
my
free
best
meal.
friend. Yeah.
I know.
No, really. Like, they pay for stuff. Like, it's like a built-in friend who has to, like, pay for everything, love
Exactly.
you no matter what. Like, do it. Like, do it. For real. I'm not even kidding.
It's so true.
It's
So
like
true.
the best, and they like
Right.
know everything about the family drama. Like
Right.
I love being like, okay, tell me
Mhm.
about so and so today.
Yeah,
she
tell
just
me,
like
Mom.
tell me everything, you know, and you're like, yes, like
It's
you
so
feel
true. Me and my
involved.
mom are so much alike. It's like I have a sister already.
Yeah,
It's like we go from like, oh, Mom, I love you, to why are you talking to me right now? We are butting heads and you're disagreeing with me. But it's so funny. We are so close. And that's obviously what makes us feel like sisters
Yeah.
and being able to just talk about everything. If I didn't have my mom, I talked to her about absolutely everything, text her every single day throughout the day. Like, she is just my right hand girl. And I cannot imagine not having her to talk to. And like, hey, if I had another sibling, she'd be having to talk to her too.
Yeah. And
But I think that's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, number one, there are some people who don't even have the capability to have
Right.
that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
No,
like
it's
even
so
if they
true.
wanted to be close with their parents, maybe there's just some issue that, or some people obviously don't have parents. There are people, maybe just their parents are just kind of off the deep end or
Mhm.
whatever.
Exactly.
But what would y'all say to those? Because I think it's so important that you have people older than you,
Mhm.
whether it be parents,
Right.
whether it be family, aunt, uncle,
Yeah.
grandparents,
Mm-hmm.
or youth pastor, whatever,
Right.
somebody that you can look up to that can always talk some sense, right? Because
Exactly.
I don't care who we are, we always need sense talked
Mhm.
into us. I call some of my friends, they're a little bit
Yeah.
older. And, like Steve Sexton, he's way older, and so he's like a grandfather to me,
It's literally grandfather.
Yeah,
G.
yeah.
Paul.
That's right. So, but he's able to talk some sense into me. We need that, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need reality talking to us. But I think sometimes we can get catty
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
with mom or dad, right?
Oh, yeah. yeah.
I think even sometimes we invent drama.
Huh.
Like, I
It's
don't
so
know,
true.
where it's like I have to have problems. What would y'all say to junior high girls, high school girls that, hey, look, you need to try and have a relationship with your mom or dad if it's possible,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Walk me
I
through that.
personally feel like there's such a culture of people who are trying to create this, it's not cool to be friends with your parents,
Mhm.
like,
So true.
and there are some parents, I think that starts with people who don't and genuinely don't have great home lives, or
Mhm.
mom and dad are split up or whatever, you have a bad perspective.
Right.
But and then I do believe the Lord puts in your life youth pastors, and
Like
you
a
know,
substitute.
Anna Hampson and
Mhm.
her husband are starting to do this thing, and hearing her
Yes.
invest in these girls' lives and these kids' lives, and they have this wonderful marriage to look up to. They just got married and they're just living life and they're doing
Mhm.
great. And so I think the Lord does that. But for these other people, it is cool to be friends with your parents. It's
Right.
fun. It's beneficial, and especially their wisdom and their time, and they're the person who knows you quite literally the most.
Mhm.
And so they know what you're thinking and what's going on, and just like the little things about you that other people wouldn't.
Right.
And so they're able to kind of pick up on things. And I think that's so important, as you're saying, for people in your life too, having that older mentor friend
Right.
in your life.
Yes.
And I just think it's so important. And we have a culture who doesn't think that that's cool or that's important. And I think it's so necessary.
Mhm. I think that like sometimes, you can compare with your parents. As much as comparison is so real, it can even happen with your parents. I can remember, talking to my friends in high school, or just whatever, and being like, yeah, my mom did this, and they're like, your mom does that? Like, she is so helicopter, or she is this, like
Uh-huh.
she is this. And I'm just like, and then it would make me like have some resentment towards
Against your
my
mom.
parents,
Mm.
or
Yeah.
just like whatever the situation may have been. And I'm just like, you know what? That is so dumb,
Mm.
because they're my parents and I
Yeah.
love them and I know that they love me. So
Absolutely.
they're not going to do anything out of any way other than the fact that they love me and they care about me. And so it's just like, don't compare. Those of you who like do have your parents to be able to look up to and you love them and you have that relationship with them, you can't take into consideration what other people are trying to put in your mind,
Absolutely.
because it can become such a negative, outlook on the relationship that you could have. And like, I feel like that's where it comes in, where we're like, oh, it's not cool to have a relationship
Yeah.
with your parents. It's not cool to be close with them. It's not cool to tell them everything, but they're the ones that are going to be there for you when, your friends aren't, when that friend stabs you in the back
Absolutely.
sometimes.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that is so important. But, like, just even if it's not your parents, just having someone that you can truly confide in and that's going to be honest and real with you, and that's not going to sugarcoat things when it's
Right.
not necessary. Like, you've got to be someone, you've got to like have someone that's going to be straight up with you, because, if someone's always just, sugarcoating things
Yeah.
and just telling you what you want to hear, it's not doing you any good. It
No,
can
that's
honestly do more harm than good. So it's just like knowing somebody that you can truly get honesty from. And
Yeah.
it's so important, because we can think that we can figure things out and
Yeah.
we can think that we've got it all under control, but having someone to just share, your heart with and sharing what you're really going through, it's so important, because you need that feedback and you need that insight that you can overlook.
Iron sharpens iron. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, that was my Papal's
Mm.
scripture is that,
Which I want to talk
yep.
about him in a
Mhm.
minute. But I do want to hammer on this, because I think the family is so important.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And I feel like today there's a push away from the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the nuclear traditional family. I feel like there's a push culturally
Yeah.
to rip that apart.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing that fragmentation even between parents and kids talking,
Yeah.
Right.
and I like what you said. You get people that sugarcoat it and tell you what you want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And we are literally living in a world right now that
Sugarcoats
says that
everything.
sugarcoat everything. And they're like,
Yes.
yeah, if that's you, do it.
Yeah.
Right. You do you.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you happy, and it's like.
yeah, except
But what's
for,
right?
sometimes,
Yeah.
in the long run, that's actually not going to make me happy.
Mhm.
Right.
Right?
It's like we're just saying we're just a world who just instantly gratifies, instant gratification,
always
instant
in the
gratification.
moment
Absolutely.
type
It's
thing.
just right here, right now, and that won't benefit you in your
Mhm.
future. We have people who are just living on whims and whatever makes me
Right.
happy now, and it's like
Yeah.
no, what's going to make you happy in the long run, like for
Right.
your life and
Impulse decisions
oh,
just
absolutely.
can do, like I said, more harm than
Drinking,
good.
Sleeping around. I mean, the culture we have.
That's
I mean,
right.
just no, I want to save this and have a great marriage later, and I
Mhm.
Yep.
want to bless that later, not
Yeah.
just ruin that and do whatever now.
Right.
Our culture is just
Mhm.
like.
But
I know.
after this moment,
crazy.
what's going to happen after this moment?
Yeah,
Nobody
like-
has
5
any
years,
thought.
10 years,
Yeah.
15
Let's think
years.
about what happens and how we're gonna feel
That's right.
after.
Yeah, like with Inslee going into college and doing speech path. What is this going to lead me later in life? You
Right.
know, and
Yeah.
how she was talking about nursing later in life. I won't be able to handle this
Mhm.
mentally. You know what I mean? And so just always thinking about, all right, what is this decision
Yeah.
gonna? Nobody thinks
So true.
anything through.
What do y'all think, for junior high and high school girls today? What are some of the challenges, that they're getting today? Maybe that you guys didn't. I mean, because things they're changing constantly,
Mhm.
right?
Absolutely.
So what are some of the challenges they're facing? Maybe that y'all did face, or
Mhm.
what are y'all seeing? As we got junior high girls and high school girls that'll be listening, like what
Right.
are some of the things that y'all are seeing? Maybe that y'all had to fight through.
Mhm.
Is it same old always, right?
Right.
Insecurity, drama.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those things like relationships,
Yeah,
blah blah blah.
Exactly. I feel like the biggest thing right now is just seeing so much on social media, and just I feel like because COVID hit, like everything resulted to online and
Yeah.
social media, and so that has just been something that's been lasting,
Yeah.
and something that we've just like I don't know, we've just like used so much, and we just
Yes.
rely on it. That was my word.
So
Rely
you
on
think
social media.
that social
so
media
much.
blew up even more?
Absolutely. I mean, it
because
was
of
the only
COVID?
way to see the outside world.
Interesting. Yeah.
It was like, okay, well, we can't do these things in person. So everything's going to go online and everything's going to go on social media. And so I feel like because of social media, a lot more comparison has started to come about. And so just like everything that is posted, even me, like I feel like it's just something that girls face in general, is just looking at things on social media and immediately comparing themselves to whatever it may be, an outfit, how somebody looks, body image, and then even like mental health, just seeing things that you are like, oh, like I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like social media is so fabricated and it's just not real. I mean, there are real people and there is good that can come out of social media, but the majority of it is honestly, more negative than positive just because of the comparison that that follows it. It's
and comparison, I love what you were saying. Comparison starts to bring a culture of people who are no longer unique. And the Lord created us all in a very specific way. And again, bringing it back to your gifts and talents, I mean, like, if Inslee had wanted to be a rock star, maybe she wouldn't have found her dance talent, like what the Lord is using right now. And so we are missing a culture of people who want to be themselves.
Exactly. Everybody wants to wear what everyone else is wearing. Everyone wants to look like everyone else. Everyone wants to do the same makeup routine that everybody else is doing.
Everybody wants to do the same TikTok, the
Exactly.
same sound, the same Instagrams, the same layout, the same people, the same friends. And it's like, you were made, and I'm not saying you can't wear outfit. I mean,
exactly.
The outfits and all that stuff. Like, I'm into trends, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm not into changing yourself to be someone else.
That's a big thing. I feel like that's really like that main point that I was trying to make, is just that
absolutely
it's so hard for girls to just genuinely be themselves, is because they're constantly comparing to what they're seeing on social media when a lot of it is filters and people,
absolutely
posting these things that it's a highlight reel. Like we've heard, it's a highlight reel, and it's always the good things that they're posting. No one's going to really post the hard things that they're going through, other than like the big moments in their lives. It's just like you don't see that nitty gritty that people are facing on a day-to-day basis. I mean, we have these celebrities that we look up to.
Absolutely.
And like, I look up to Sadie Robertson. I love
same girl.
her, and she is a great role model. She really is. But her Instagram is, all the good things. We don't see all the bad things. And so it's not like, I can't be Sadie because she's just perfect. Like, no one's perfect. And that's what social media looks like, is perfection. And that's just not, it's not real.
I never want to bash the tool, because social media is a tool,
Right.
but it is not what comparing yourself is the issue.
Yeah.
Social media is the tool that you are using as the issue. People, we like to blame the tools today. I want to blame that social media for making me insecure. Girl, you did that to yourself. You decided yourself, I wasn't good enough. I'm not as pretty as her. No, that was not the tool's fault. That was your own head. You know what I mean? And I do want to point out, I'm not against social media. We love us some social media. I be posting. I be loving them
TikTok,
followers. Go
Got
follow.
We got
follow
your tie.
people.
Yeah.
Like,
Job security, thank you.
we love some social media. We love some Brook Hill social media. Go follow it. But, it's not.
Yeah, it's just the way that it can be used
absolutely
in a negative
Well,
way.
just the balance, right?
Exactly.
I mean, just like too much water is not good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you can literally overdrink water, right?
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Get waterlogged.
Yeah,
True.
but it's balance when it's all you're doing all the time, and you have no social interaction and no personal creativity of what you're creating. You're only looking at what other people are creating, right?
Yes, exactly.
Well, I mean, iron sharpens iron. Going back to what we were talking about, you get out there and you be with people and they sharpen you, but they don't make you.
Right.
Exactly.
You and the Lord make you. And I mean, I think that's a loss of our culture too, is Jesus. You know, we need more of that.
And, going off of that, I feel like a big thing that, I mean, I've realized in, my walk with the Lord is just finding my fulfillment from Him.
Absolutely.
And not those other things like social media or alcohol or all the things that you can name that people, look to and seek to give them fulfillment, to give them gratification, when really it's our relationship with the Lord. He is going to give us every single thing, every single necessity that we need to, feel that, loss of joy, that loss of peace, that loss of strength that we may feel on a daily basis, that we look for in those things that are not Him and that are not going to give us lasting gratification.
Yeah.
It's always instant gratification.
Absolutely.
Right? I feel like that's a big thing.
And, bringing it back to your question, I think another thing could be friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think that struggling, whenever I talk to girls, younger girls, or even my experience in high school, friends are a really big thing, especially if you want to be, popular and have a lot of friends. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to do that and be that. And I think we can base a lot of our decisions off of them. And when you find your uniqueness in the Lord and who He has called you to be, then you can really be yourself and have that reach. And I think my experience in school, just going to a different school my senior year, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Not having someone or a set friend group was the most wonderful thing, because I just got to be me.
Yeah.
And I was loved for it.
Exactly.
Like, people would be like, "You're so wonderful. You're such a light. Like, you're so bright. You're so happy when you walk into a room." And it's like, because I'm not being controlled by anybody else in here.
Yeah.
If somebody's mad at the way I'm happy that day, friends really can be mad if you're happy and they're not.
Oh, yeah. Jealousy. That's a big thing. Big thing. And it creates a lot of conflict when you are, constantly feeling like you're being judged, or constantly, bickering with a friend. Like, jealousy is just something that is what that stems from. I mean, I just feel like negativity and just all those types of things, it really stems from jealousy. And that's a big thing in high school. In high school, I thought that a friend group was what I needed. I was like, so I went to a small school from pre-K to 8th grade, and then it didn't have a high school. So I was like, okay, I got to.
How many were in your class? What are we talking about, small school?
Like 50.
Oh,
Okay.
So you have 140 in your class.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So so 8th grade, it was like 50 people. And so then I had to choose what high school I wanted to go to, because we didn't have one.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go into high school. I'm going to have this friend group that, you think about when you think of high school.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
friend group. And that just wasn't the case. I didn't find that group of girls that I thought that I had in my head, that picture painted for myself. And that was okay, because I had girls that were in my grade. I had girls that were in a grade below me, and I had girls that were older than me that I had one-on-one relationships with that meant so much more to me than having a friend group. I feel like that's something that we miss a lot of times, especially in junior high and high school, is, oh, well, I want to have this group that I can go to these events with and go out to eat with and always have to call on. But like, it's okay if you don't have that group, because you may be missing those connections and that genuineness that you can find in a singular person, rather than, let me, look for these friends that are going to be there for me. And I was able to have, I had friends, not saying I didn't have like a good, group.
Absolutely.
I didn't have like a core group, but I had a group of friends that weren't, that were all like separate.
Yes.
And so I was able to really, be thankful and just, rely on those girls, because I knew that they loved me for who I was. They weren't going to judge me. I was going to be able to be open and honest with them. They were going to be straight up with me. And I valued that so much more than having a group that we could name ourselves something. Like, that's just not important.
Exactly.
like, let's take all the first letters of our names
and make a name,
of
I
our
didn't even know
friend
that's
group.
a thing.
No, seventh grade me would eat that up.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Tyler, we got T, Ethan's E, Carson C.
Let's see.
We'll go work on that.
Tech.
I didn't even know it's a
Tech.
thing.
Tech.
Y'all's
Tech.
name could be
Tech.
Tech.
We're tech.
Or
Tech.
Ket. No, I like
Yeah.
Tech better.
All right.
Anyway, we made their group
But-
name.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's crazy.
Friend group. But
Y'all don't need that, don't
Right.
worry.
I just love being able to just find myself in those, individual friendships that I wasn't going to find in a friend group just because it was a friend group. It was those people that I that seeked me out for one, and I seeked them out, and I made time for them, and I, genuinely loved them, and I was so thankful for that. And I still talk to those friends in college, like that. Those friendships didn't die, and that's
awesome.
the importance of that.
Yeah.
I love that because, with friends, I get that question all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. I don't care who I'm talking to, guys, girls.
Absolutely.
That is the high school question, in my opinion, maybe even starts in junior high, is friends.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's always that I don't have any.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And how do I get them?
Mhm.
But I think people are very limited,
Mhm.
and they don't get creative and look for older or younger friends.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're unwilling to go outside. Okay, in my classroom,
Yeah.
there
Mhm.
are no friends. Okay, well,
Right.
life's
Right.
a little bigger than
Yeah.
your classroom.
Exactly. Go
That is
out.
so good. That is such a good point.
Mhm.
I love that because it's so important to think the future.
Mhm.
You go off to college and you find those core friends. That's what people talk about
Right.
is like, I found my best friends in college, or what Brook Hill did for me and for a lot of people, that brought my core
Mhm.
friends and my core people. And
Right.
that's probably a unique thing we could talk about Brook Hill too. But aside from
That's
that,
why you should be on all summer stuff.
hey,
Yeah.
true, do it.
Shameless
Yeah.
plug.
Hey, true. It's true. But it is like life. I love that. Life is so much bigger than that, And again,
Yes.
your decisions now, that later, like look at your future, Well,
Exactly.
college is coming, or, well, even if you're in junior high and you're looking for high school, high school is coming and that pool is even bigger. Or
Right.
then you're going to college and that pool is even bigger. Or real life,
Mhm.
work, life, that brings you your best friends. And
Yeah.
so,
Well, here's the question. How long are you willing to wait for something great?
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
heard
so
I mean,
the
that-
greatest line I heard the other day, the best is always a disguise, or okay is a disguise for the best.
Your mom said something in her talk at Lead Weekend. It was like, or Turkey Day. It
Yes.
was the enemy's biggest distraction from great is good, or like
Mhm.
yeah.
That's
Good
it.
is the
good is the enemy's
enemy
biggest
of-
distraction from great.
for the best.
Yeah.
For the yeah.
From
It's like
That's
good
right.
is the distraction of the best. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, I'll settle for this. This
Yeah.
is good.
Mhm.
He's good. I had a friend who went through a relationship recently, and she said he was good. There was nothing wrong with him.
Mhm.
He just wasn't the best. He wasn't the
Mhm.
best for me. And I think that could be the same for friends.
Yeah.
These friends are good. They're fine. They
Right.
they only cuss a little. They only drink
Right.
a little. But I want friends who don't do any of that.
Mm.
I want the best. I
Right.
want the richest. I want the
Yeah.
sweetest friends. I want to protect that. I want to protect my heart from that,
Right.
And I
Exactly.
think that's so important.
But I
That's
think it
great.
comes back
Yes.
to identity,
Yeah.
right?
Yep,
And if I'm
absolutely.
looking for identity in friends, or I'm looking
Absolutely.
for an identity in a relationship,
Mhm.
what in that literally is the 13 to 17, 18, that identity formation
Yes.
is what is happening.
And it feels like the longest part of your life.
It does.
Ye-
People used to say,
I'm never
going
gonna know who
You'll
I
get
am.
friends at
That's
some
right.
They'll
point.
come around.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's important that if you don't know who you are in Christ,
Yeah.
get around
So
people who do.
Yes.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Yes.
Because, I always say my friends at Brook Hill were my identity
Mhm.
until I learned to have an identity in Christ.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're going to have our identity in something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true.
And that was a very harmless thing that my identity was in. Right? It was kind of like I followed them as they followed Christ
Right.
Yeah.
until I learned how to follow Christ on my own.
Exactly.
And in but that's way easier said than done
Absolutely.
true.
when you're 13 to
It's so
18 or
true.
13 to 19,
Exactly.
But if you're listening, it's important,
Mhm.
right, that you learn how to get around those people who do have their identity in Christ.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because if your identity's in your friend group, you're going to go wherever your identity is.
Yeah.
It's true.
If your identity's
Yeah.
so my identity's
good.
not in baseball, I play baseball, my identity's in Christ,
Yes,
right?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So, because then if I get hurt, my identity's dead.
Mhm.
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
So you're going to go where your identity is. So if I'm with this friend group, I'm going to go wherever they're going, no matter what
It's
that
true.
Yeah.
means,
It's
because
true.
I need that,
Yeah.
and that's those are the things that we've got to do.
That's
Exactly.
great. I feel like
Yeah.
friends, that's such a big one people are struggling with today.
Well, the
Yes.
two things that I always had people come to me prayer about: family and friends.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, when someone walked up to me, I'd go, yeah, I could literally go, is this family or friends?
Yeah.
Right.
If not, whoa, this is
Whoa,
a new
who
one.
are you
Good
and what are
topic.
you
Hold on,
struggling
let me
with?
prepare.
You're in the
Let me-
1% because that's where
It's so
you are
true.
in your life
Yeah.
at that time. And I love that y'all have talked about that. So it's really good.
Yes.
Yep.
For sure.
It's awesome.
That's really good stuff. Okay, I have a gift for you for being on the podcast here today.
Oh.
A gift.
We're starting to do this now. Anybody that comes on the podcast. So
Wait, that's fun.
this is brand new. No one
I
has
know.
seen this.
Oh.
I'm so
This
excited.
and look at this. It's new water bottles, Brook Hill water bottles. Here we go, right here for Mr. Lumex right there.
Stop.
And then look on the back. It says "Stay
No way.
hydrated."
I love stuff like that. That's
Isn't
cute.
that cool?
Hydrate.
Yes.
I love it. Are you trying to tell me something? Because I haven't drank any water today.
Yeah.
Well,
he knew.
I knew. So anyway, we're
Yay, I'm
starting
so
to do that kind of
excited.
That's
stuff where we
fun.
where,
yeah, like
where
give
we
out
do
a little
that.
thing.
That's
cool.
right.
Love it.
That's right.
I like
Yep.
that.
And we would like to play a little game with you.
Dang.
Yes, I have more to talk to you about, but we want just
Okay.
like a little commercial timeout right here.
Oh,
Is what this is.
commercial.
This
Commercial
is the Brook Hill podcast is brought to you by Hydrate. Brook Hill Hydrate.
Wow.
That's what this is. Wait, model that real quick. They got that on you. Hydrate. BR Brook Hill.
You
Don't know when to drink? Turn your water bottle around and it will tell you when it's time for more water. It has times. Anyway.
Yeah, this is
This
boring.
will
Yeah.
tell you.
Oh,
Let's upgrade. Bing.
that's it.
Are you tired of your old, weary, sad plastic water bottles? Well, we've got just the thing for you. Brook Hill water bottles, stylish and functional.
Yes,
Y'all the perfect people to have on here right there.
we are.
All right, Tyler, we're going to play a game here. We're going to see.
Oh,
Let's put some
dear.
pressure on her first.
Oh,
Can we
no,
show the
I'm
leaderboard?
scared.
Can we show the leaderboard?
Oh, no way,
Uh-uh.
Anna.
Anna,
No.
formerly
Lindsay
known as
Perry.
Hampson, now
Yes.
Waller.
Nope.
Lindsay
Miss
Perry.
Waller.
So look, we've got new school and old school right up there at the top, and then old Callan. He's so competitive.
Oh,
Then you
jeez.
kind of start to get down here to like the Griffins and the Brooks Lee Perrys and the Stewarts. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Jason Ross. You definitely don't want to be down.
Tyler.
That's Tyler Kemp.
Tyler.
Tyler
I was
Kemp.
like, no.
Oh, I was like, what?
That's TK.
I was
You don't want to get
embarrassed
down
for
there
Tyler
to the
for a second.
TK. It almost looks like 0.9. I don't think that's what that says, but
Oh, it's
alumni. Okay. Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, that's
A9.
cool. They have. You can know
Look,
who
you
the
got
alumni
one
are.
alumni on
Wow.
the board.
Ben Brown being considered alumni. Okay. All right. So here's the way that this game works. It's a Brook Hill game.
Okay.
Brook Hill podcast. So you're gonna have 3 categories to choose from. So people get confused. So I'm gonna help you from confusing. You don't have to choose a category. You can use all 3 simultaneously. Bounce back and forth. Okay. You're gonna get 30 seconds to name as many Brook Hill things from these 3 categories: songs,
Okay.
cabins, and activities.
Okay.
On the songs, yes. Oh,
Yes.
what songs? Yes.
all
Okay.
of them.
Morning,
Okay.
noon, and night. Right? Any of the songs we have. On a wagon, whatever. Okay.
Okay.
So you got songs, cabins, activities. You have 30 seconds to name as many as you can. Whenever you see the timer up there, you can begin.
Okay. Roans. Pintos, Palominos, Galicinos. Dang, what is your cabin? Oh my gosh, Percherons. Blind Man. Candle. This little lot of mine. What else? What's the other category? Oh my gosh.
Wagon talks. Oh wait.
Quick, Connie. Y'all are making me nervous.
You're bad at this.
Lipizzans.
I think she tied Tyler Kemp or
Oh
something.
my
She's close.
word.
9, 10.
And
Wow.
You don't do well under pressure.
Yeah.
I don't like taking tests either.
Oh, okay.
I just scream, and that's all I can think of to
You're
do.
so
She's
sad
taking
today.
she's taking a test in college, and all she does is scream. I bet that's nice for her fellow classmates right there. All right.
Those ears are probably burning because I screamed in the mic. Oh, I think I need a retry. I forgot the 3rd category.
What was it? I forgot it too. Songs?
Activities.
Oh, activities.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I was stressed too.
I was
Yeah.
stressed.
Stressed.
I got 9.
No.
Yeah, that was really
That was-
really good.
Tragic.
That was
I
really
know
tragic.
more. I swear. Just I'm. I'm
So
She
she
likes to take
absolutely
her
loves
time.
Brook Hill. She could name
I
9
do.
things about it.
She
You could just tell. I'm
She
glad she got her
promises.
cabin though. She started with the Roans.
I know. And then she looked at me and she was like,
Really I do want to point out.
Under pressure's bad.
Oh, you have a whole cheat sheet.
I do want to point out, kind of like the ACT, you should have started with at least 8.
Inslee.
So basically, we're not gonna talk about that ever again.
I
Look,
love
we
it.
even have like a little schedule.
Oh,
Yeah.
Night.
my dear.
I don't know if that gave away anything over there.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
Good night,
anyway.
angels.
Jeez, that was so bad. That
That
was
was-
horrible.
That
You
was really, really
Should
bad.
have given her a study guide.
Okay, a couple more things.
guide.
A study guide. Couple more
Look,
things.
you got
Inslee. So
activities over there.
Stop. We're not
Yeah.
gonna point out all the things I could have done.
we're
Okay,
gonna point
guys.
out the 30 that were sitting in this room right
You
here.
know.
Yeah.
I got nervous. Okay.
I love. Yes, like flight or fright or what was it?
Fight or flight.
Or fright.
She flighted.
She frights. Yeah, she just
flighted.
screams. She's the one that's gonna panic, right?
Every time I play
Oh, Lord.
intramurals at OBU, I literally just like run. Say it was like flag football. I'll just scream. Like I'm just like, I don't know what to do.
You play flag football.
She's such a sporty
did.
girl.
Okay,
Oh, don't ask her
yeah.
about
I'm-
basketball.
Are you the quarterback?
either.
What are you on flag football?
I don't know. Like, I just run and chase them. Like try.
She's on defense.
She's the run and chase 'em. That's a very important player on the team. Is that what you did, Tyler, when you were on the football team?
Yeah, I started at run and chase them, but then I ended up as run away and not get chase them.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Hey, I played basketball too.
What did you do on the basketball court?
I ran.
And chase them?
No, don't tell us you ran and chase him again.
I'm assuming this is what
I
you do on
tried
all
to
the
guard-
teams.
I tried to guard. That didn't work.
Yeah.
Guard.
And then so like I accidentally made a basket one time.
I'm
on the
assuming
wrong
this is on
side.
the wrong side.
I did shoot the ball, but I didn't make it on the wrong side. I made
Okay.
it on the right side
Okay.
when I realized
That's
I was
good.
shooting at the wrong goal.
Yeah.
And I'm currently on the wiffle ball team,
Okay.
No, you are so sporty.
but I haven't played a game yet.
Okay. Wiffle ball
I'll-
doesn't have any run and chase 'em spots.
It
just so you
doesn't.
know.
I know how to play that one. I used to play softball. We're not
Okay.
going to talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm,
Wiffle ball's fun.
I'm pretty sure on sports card, on the rookie cards where it says RC,
That's
that's the run and chase.
that's the
them
run and
guys.
chase. Yes.
What does
Right.
RC actually
Good call.
stand for?
Yeah,
Rookie,
I've never
rookie
seen
rookie
that.
card. He
but-
said.
oh.
Yeah.
I was like,
love
I was
it.
like, run and chase him,
Yeah.
run and chase him.
I love it. No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh dear.
She's so sporty.
Okay, so you said Roans. You are senior counselor of the Roans.
Yes, sir.
What did you think about being a senior counselor last summer? Did you absolutely love it?
Oh yes, I loved it. I knew that as soon as I was a JC, I mean, even my graduate year, I knew that there was no way I could ever say no to not going back to Brook Hill, whatever it was. And so I just always wanted to be a senior counselor, just the way that they poured into me. And I just knew that that was something that I could do, for somebody else. And that's just my passion and has always been ever since I was, like I said, a graduate and JCing. I was like, okay, let me see if this is really what I want to do or, what the Lord's calling me to do. And, once I was actually after my second year, I was asked, hey, we have a cabin, maybe you could come. And I was just like, I know I'm not ready. And I just knew that I needed to prepare to be in that role and to be that leadership role. And I knew that like just coming out of high school and there was just a lot of things that I wanted to feel, mature. I needed that maturity. I felt like I needed it. And so I applied after my third year as a JC and I just knew, I was like, I want to do this. And I think that this is where the Lord has called me. And I just felt that tug on my heart. I really did. And, it worked out so well. And I loved every second of it. I mean, there were a lot of things, learning things and, maybe drive the wagon kind of over the rock wall one time. That's
did do
okay.
that.
Did you?
She did.
Just the back tire.
She did. She just into the.
I just kind of like
Awesome.
hopped a little bit. It was
Curb
In
check.
her defense, somebody told her to keep going. Like I was watching, and they were like, "Come on!" And then it was like,
come on, you got
then
it.
they, like,
And they're
instantly
like,
hit
oh,
the
you
rock
don't
wall.
got it. You
Yeah.
don't got it. But that's okay. Some learning things, in all areas. And I think that that's what I'm looking most forward to going to this next year is I was able to learn so much and, the logistics of things. I was, logistics last year. And now it's like, okay, connection and just, learning from all the things that, I did wrong last year and did right and just knowing how I'm going to be better this year and just looking so forward to it. I cannot wait and training is so soon. It was amazing.
Who were your counselors? Like, who were the girls you looked up to? What was that?
So Ashton Tate, she was my
Yes.
counselor when I was a graduate. And then of course Sam Sloan. Love.
Speaking of Ashton Tate, sorry, I got a text from her and Franny Dean.
Did you really?
Yes, they're in Tennessee in some nursing program together.
Oh my goodness.
They were on the same whatever.
You mean Ibby Dean?
Thank you so much. Sorry,
thank
Franny.
you.
My bad,
I was
Ibby.
like, Fran's not in.
It was totally
nursing.
Ibby that texted me.
It was.
And it was a picture of the two of them, and she's like, Brook Hill is everywhere.
That's
and it was
so
Ashton.
fun. I love that.
What are the odds?
No, yeah, like
Mississippi girl and Ashton. I mean,
that.
you know.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yep.
That's so cool.
So Ashton.
That's actually how I met Ins.
Yes.
It was quite the embarrassing story.
Because what?
At camp, met
Okay.
Ins at camp, and she was, what were you, the aide for the LCs?
Yeah,
she was
I
an
was
LC
LC.
aide.
Mm-hmm.
And we were upstairs. It was my AC summer, and it's so embarrassing. We were up there.
you.
It was embarrassing for me, absolutely. We were up in the storage room, and we're cutting something out or whatever, and they were like, "Yeah, we really want Ins to come back all summer, whatever." And I said, "Oh, are you a first year?" She was a third year, and I was like, "Oh, I've never seen you before," and she was like, "We've talked," and I was like, "Oh, cool, awesome." So then when she was on all summer, I was like, "Oh, I'm not starting off on a good one. I am not. I'm simply not." But then it just
Now we're
blossomed
best
from
friends.
there. But it's really awkward. It was just great. It was great. It was
Great time. I was
awkward.
like, oh, that's
I know.
Yeah, that happens to me. It's like,
like-
hi, welcome to Brook Hill.
Yeah, and they're
you know.
like, I've been here for
It's
10
like
years.
10th year.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Is this your first year as a counselor? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been here.
I'm on all summer staff.
Yeah.
right.
Oh.
I'm dating
You-
your daughter. I get things like that all the
Oh,
time.
true.
Like,
Awkward.
It's awkward.
It happens to the best of us.
That's right.
Anyway.
It does. But
That's right. So who else?
Yeah.
You had Ashton. You had who? Who was
Sam Sloan.
Sam. Oh,
Oh,
my gosh.
yeah,
I was talking to her
naturally.
yesterday.
Yes.
She's amazing.
She was everyone's
Love
counselor.
her. Randy.
You had Randy?
I didn't have her, like I wasn't in her cabin, but I remember it was when we still had the gymnastics activity, and
She's
I
amazing.
just loved
Yes.
her. And then of course Claudia and Molly, loved them so much.
They're the
Loved
best.
them so much.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I was talking to Claudia. I talked to all these
Yeah.
people, except for Molly. Molly
Uh-huh.
doesn't talk, but all these people you're talking about, I've literally, in the last couple of weeks, I've talked to all of them.
That's
So
crazy.
Aw.
That's awesome.
they're amazing. I love that.
them so
Yeah,
much.
you were talking about being okay. We were talking about you being this really sporty person for intramurals, but what do they say, Tyler? Those who can't do, coach. Is that what it is? Because Inslee was the champion coach of the 2-week session
Oh.
Olympics,
Right.
and
True.
Olivia was the runner-up. You're looking
Hey,
at the top 2
You're
coaches
looking at the best
on
Olympic
girls'
coaches
staff right here,
Right
True.
here.
and you had like all 7th graders.
Yeah. It was a time for sure because
To say the least.
I just remember I was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. And I was a little nervous, but I was
just
speechless.
happened.
It just happened because I remember like no one was like, super confident on like, okay, yeah, I totally want to do that race. I was just like, nah, you got it. Like I know you do. Like I was like, who swims? And they're
Yeah.
like,
No one swims.
and I'm like, you are gonna do the race. Okay. And then she like won.
Oh,
Yes.
no, you
I
gotta throw that
love
back.
that.
That was
Sneak
too cool.
peeks.
That was awesome.
That was. Oh.
He's bringing
Oh.
it up. Don't worry.
Now that's coming over
Oh,
here.
just kidding.
Never
I don't
mind.
think that's it. That's not the thing. All right.
Uh,
Anyway, yep.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Here it comes. Here it
Oh,
comes.
that's
There it
so
is. Look at
fun.
that.
I
Here's my
love
favorite
Pure
game to play
joys.
here, Tyler, is which one is the counselor?
Stop. That was the joke all week because
That
we were
was-
wearing the
yeah.
same thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
same
it's the girl
girl.
in the back holding the fish. That's the senior
Right, yep.
counselor.
Yeah.
Look at
you're
this. This is
right.
the first year JC.
Yeah.
Oh my
We're-
word. It's.
No, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh,
that's
that's so
such a
fun.
fun group.
I love that.
I know.
photo.
Look
They
at
were
it. That
the
was look
most
at your,
fun.
you got all
Pure happiness.
yeah.
Just like those like TikToks, and it's like pictures I'm smiling in, and then pictures that I'm smiling for the picture
Yeah.
and smiling in the picture. I'm
Yeah.
smiling in the
You're
picture.
smart. You
exactly
are
right.
in
Not
the picture,
for
not
the
for
picture.
that.
T Finch, could we do a small Brook Hill Insiders reveal for those who are watching the podcast? You see what she's wearing there? Ah.
Oh.
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 What are you?
Look at the difference.
Oh.
Look at this right here.
Okay.
Instead of it's going to have Brook
Oh my
Hill on it.
goodness.
That's
I
cool.
love it.
That's the Olympic
Custom-
medals,
This
y'all.
is the Olympic medals.
Stop. I
So
love it.
right
So
there,
that's
the
too
question is, will either one of you be wearing?
I really hope so.
That's
I feel like it's my
real.
year to reign.
Right.
Mm.
Guess I'll let you have it.
So we'll have to see. What?
No, you're so competitive.
That's the
Pretends
thing.
not to
That's
be.
pretty cool right there, T.
You're
But
so competitive.
I need to go.
Oh.
Yep.
Brought to you by
But it's
Medals
cool.
by
These are
Brook
going to be
Hill.
custom this year. Custom
Love
Brook
it.
Hill medals. So
Are you
anyway.
tired of lame medals?
You need another commercial?
I
We
got you. Are you
No.
tired of your lame medals? Go to Brook Hill
That's
for all
so
your
true, though.
winning
I
needs.
love it.
I definitely didn't realize how competitive I was
You're so competitive.
until Olympics, and I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh my gosh, she's crazy.
But how different is the 2 week though?
Oh my goodness. So that was one thing is I hadn't done the 2 week until I did the 2 week as a senior counselor. And so I
Lord.
was
Sink or
in
swim.
for run for my money because I did not know what to, I mean, obviously we had training. And
Right,
so like I
right.
knew what to expect, but I didn't know what to expect.
No.
And so it was like, that is my favorite session. I
Yes.
loved the
Yeah.
2 week session. It just the things that, you're not expecting to do, and those people that come for the first time and they're like,
Yeah.
what? This is Brook Hill? And you're like, yeah, this is Brook
For
Hill.
real.
It was just so much fun, and all the things we get to do, and the
The
connection.
connection. Oof.
The connection is such a big part.
It
That
is huge.
cabin, I
Best
love
friends with.
those girls.
Yeah.
Love them, and it's just a different ball game. It's so much fun. It's just like you're outside. You're getting to do all these different things, all these different activities that you may not be in your activities that we get to go to. And then it's like, oh, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'm going swimming. I'm going and doing the field events. I'm going and playing these board games. Like for Olympics, it's so much fun. And oh my gosh, just the
Yeah, the
connection,
cabin
like we said.
connection is unreal, and then the fun you get to have as a cabin. You
Mhm.
really like take those girls in as your own.
Yes.
It's like, oh my gosh, you won, like my
Yes,
girl
I
won.
know.
And
Yes.
you get to have that success with them. The
Yes,
first
for
day we
sure.
did boating events, and for the perch runs, we did pretty good in boating. Like,
I know.
and when they were signing up, I had really passive girls, and so it was just
Mhm.
like they were so fun when they got to the moment. But like before, you're
Yeah,
asking
leading
around,
up.
who swims? Nobody raises their hand.
Yeah.
Okay, can anybody boat? Nobody raises their hand. I just chose. Like literally I was like, so who's down for what?
Right,
And I
that's
just
what
wrote down their name.
Exactly what I was
And we
doing.
got down there, and like she won.
They won.
And she
you're
was like,
like,
yeah, my
"What?"
family goes kayaking every weekend. And I was like, and you weren't gonna do the
And
boating?
You didn't raise your hand.
I
And you
want
didn't
other
tell me.
people
But that's
to.
the difference between guys and girls.
Yeah.
Because if you ask the guys who can shoot a basketball, all the guys
All
are
the
like,
way.
yeah, I'm on varsity. You're in third grade.
You're
You know,
on
you're
Yeah.
like, my dad played the NBA. No, he didn't. I
Yeah.
saw him when he dropped off.
Like,
right. He's
come
an
on.
accountant. Like,
Yes,
what?
but guys,
Yeah.
all the guys were probably champion boaters, right?
Right.
And the girls were like, yeah, I
Yeah,
kayak.
sure. And then they
Right.
win.
I kayak every week.
Like it's the
and
bullseye,
yes,
and you,
right.
like you just chose them, and you're like,
I
how'd you
know.
do that? They're like,
She's like,
I
"Yeah, I've done
archery every
before."
week of
I'm
my
on the
life.
yeah,
I'm
I,
on
Yeah.
the team.
I hunt with my dad.
I'm on,
archery.
yeah,
Yeah.
every weekend.
I'm just like, what? They just kept.
They're so
whipping out these-
talented.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh, the Roans got a gold in this event, and I'm like, what? Like
we did?
What? Excuse me, who? And it was
Yeah.
so much fun.
10 out of
because
10, 2 week over any.
I
Dodgeball was
know,
my
I know.
favorite.
Oh,
That was
That-
flat out my favorite to watch was girls dodgeball.
Yes.
Ugh, those
You know,
girls,
Because they were the little Nerf,
yeah.
so that you couldn't really throw it very far or hard.
Yeah.
mm-mm.
But it was all you had some girls out there that tore it up.
These
I remember
girls-
watching. There was like one girl that by herself hung in there and won it.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
was like, this is entertaining.
I will say
Exactly.
the 2 week, if you're a camper, if you want to show out some talent, come to the 2 week.
Please.
Like if you have cool talents and gifts and talents for your life, like I mean, like I'm not even kidding you.
No.
Do it.
Yes.
Come to the 2 week if you
Right.
want to show off and do your thing. I mean, it's
Exactly.
your moment in the spotlight to shine.
Right.
People
I know.
told me, David, quit talking about the 2 week, and I'm like, I can't. It's that good.
It's
I
that
know.
good.
And it being at the end of the summer, that's all you think about. After the summer is over, it's like, I can't wait for the 2 week again. It's like,
Yes.
Inslee, we have to do the whole summer.
Yeah, it's like, girl.
we got
No, it's so true. And you get to have like themes and everything. I mean, I've already been talking about
Oh,
my
yeah.
theme again and
I
like
know.
doing
I'm like, how can I
coming
talk?
back as
Bless her.
oh, I know. I was like, I'm coming back as a construction worker because we have all these chants and I'm gonna build on them. And
No, that's so true. I'm like, okay, do I really need to change the theme?
No.
no,
Because
why not? Why not
No.
make it a tradition? I
exactly.
think that's
Come back
kind
as
of
a
cool,
perch
Ty.
run so you can
Right?
be
come back as a
a
room.
construction
right.
worker. No,
You know,
be
Say
a-
wrong,
I think
say what,
that-
say
I
what.
don't know. That could be.
Percherons.
This is
Oh,
what
me,
we
oh my.
do. Oh, it's so cool. I get to be, last
Yeah.
year I was in this cabin, but this year I saw what y'all did. I wanted to be,
Exactly.
I could be cool.
No, literally.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love the idea of
Yeah.
doing that.
It's kind of cool.
And
I
I already
know,
have
'cause
all this stuff.
Exactly, and
So
like,
much
Yeah.
stuff.
The investment was
I
real.
literally told Aiden, I was like, he was my brother last summer, and I was like, you're gonna have to give me $20 more. We're
Yeah.
gonna have to get more construction vests.
Yes.
I was like, I have to go buy
That's
shovels
so
this
true.
weekend. Give me $15 more. Aiden was like, I gave you my whole paycheck, and I was like, nope, we gotta get some confetti for one of the whatevers, and like,
Can't afford to be
It's
Olivia's
so
sister
true.
Kevin.
No. When I told my
Ethan's in for
parents what I no, that's so true. When I told my parents what I spent on my 2 weeks up there, like, Inslee, like, why? I'm like, I'm sorry.
It's
I
true.
just did. I'm
But,
sorry.
I mean, even the like another thing why you should come to the 2 week, we invest so much in all this fun stuff. Like
invest, emotionally,
absolutely.
and financially.
And financially. I mean, I'm getting you vest, and I'm like, keep up with your shaker, and like all this stuff. And
Use
I'm
the
not-
shaker that I
No,
got
you
sand all
better
in my
we're sitting
cabin.
on the hill, and they're trying to sit down. And you're like, stand up and shake. I bought those. Those were
I know.
$2.99. You know.
One of my girls told her mom, we didn't sit down all 2 weeks. And I was like,
I know one of my girls was like, do we ever get to sit and be quiet? And I was like, no. I told him, I was like, how you win is cheering the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, the first day I was like, come on, Patron! Spirit boy! Who's our brother? It's like, tell me more.
I take pride in those chants.
Oh.
I
2
I
weeks
had the
different.
whole 2 week session
It's
singing
so
our
true.
You Wish You Were a Fish.
You wish. Will Derrickson came up to me singing that. He was like, you wish you were a fish. And I was like, you're not even
You
their
do.
brother. And
You
he was like,
do.
it's catchy.
Sketchy.
I was like,
Yep.
Will,
That's
stop.
awesome.
Anyway,
Trendy. It's
2 weeks
trendy.
of big fish come swim in the lake. It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
it. I love it. All right, so as we end, what made you become a senior counselor? Let's end with that.
Okay.
What made you become a senior counselor? Was it seeing the other girls?
Mm-hmm.
What hooked you? Obviously, your
Right.
parents are in the ministry, so you saw that kind of thing, and obviously
Right.
this is kind of your ministry right now.
Exactly. Just like I said, being a JC, I was really able to see all the areas, and that's what's so good about being a JC. But my first week as a JC, the senior counselor who was actually supposed to be in the cabin wasn't there that week, and so
Interesting.
Maddie Dar was in there, and she didn't even run a cabin; she was general store, but she taught me so much, and I just loved being in the cabin with her that week and seeing how she poured out into the girls and just showing me like what that's like and how to be a JC and how, Brook Hill does the cabins. And I just remember as a graduate, the way that Ashton did that for me, just like showing how much she cared for me and knowing me for 3 days, knowing me for 4 days, just
Yeah.
seeing the way that you can love on people so hard and having those people love on you. And so I just wanted to be that for those girls because it's fun because so many people come to Brook Hill. You get people
Yeah.
from everywhere. And so just being able to connect with so many different people that are going through so many different things and just being able to be that role model through Brook Hill. And I love Brook Hill so much. So being a role model through somewhere that, I just feel so at home, feel so comfortable, and just something that I've loved and look forward to doing
Yeah.
every single year. It was just like, this makes so much sense. And the Lord is all over this place. He is just in this place, and He is everywhere, obviously. But it's just, this is a ministry that I can do and I can work towards. And there's so many areas of this ministry, but specifically being a senior counselor, just
Yeah.
connection with those girls, because like I said, I am such a kids person. I'm just such a connector, and just being able to do that and through the love of Jesus is just what makes it worth it. And just you see those, like we always say, you plant those seeds, but you may not always get to see them.
It's true.
And just knowing that I planted a seed, I watered a seed,
Yeah.
is just so comforting to know. And just, the Lord gives us that comfort. It's not me through the summer that's speaking to these girls. It's what the Lord, gives me, and He speaks through me. And I just love that I am a vessel for Him to these girls, and just being able to be that to them, it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
I love that. I love what you said there. You may not even see the seed you planted. I can't wait for Maddie Dar to hear this
Yeah.
and Ashton to hear this.
Absolutely.
And, Sam and all the different ones that you named, because maybe they didn't see it, but they can know now.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
I think that is probably one of the coolest parts about Brook Hill is you constantly get to see the fruits of your labor and the seeds that you've sown. And it's like all these people coming up. I love the picture. There's a picture of Ethan, David, Esther, and Tyler in a cabin when Ethan was a little camper, and like now Ethan's gonna be a red t-shirt, and like Tyler's working media, and it's like Tyler didn't know the seed he invested in that.
Right.
But look at it, like, and you get to see it in a picture. Like these people who come back, they literally, Emily O'Quinn was just showing me all these pictures of all these counselors that she now gets to work with, and it's like, I think that's the coolest part.
Old pictures are my favorite.
Yeah.
Yes, I
because
Absolutely.
I take myself back to that moment, like you said, and I'm like, I didn't see them. I didn't know.
It's so cool.
I didn't know for who they are today.
Yeah,
I mean, I have a picture of me and Hetty when I was a kid, and she could have never known.
Yeah.
Right.
And you just
It's so
don't
true.
know. So I love
true.
that. Hopefully that makes us think about all the other people in our lives, and definitely not just at Brook Hill, but just everywhere.
Exactly.
You have no idea who they are and how we could be affecting and impacting their lives.
So true.
Actually, that is so cool. Yesterday morning, you don't even know about this. I talked with the head of our school and this other woman, and they do a prayer time. It's a really cool thing that Little Rock Christian does before they send out their seniors. They try to pray. Dr. Arnold, the head of school as of right now, is he goes through and prays for all of us individually. So I got called into the office the other day, and I was really scared. Like, I got called into the office, and they were like, "You're getting talked to," and I was like, I'm scared. And they were like, "No, you're going to love it. Like, I know you're going to love it." Miss Sutherland, shout out to her, love her. She was like, "You're going to love it." And I was like, okay. So I go in there and I just sat down, and I was in like the head of school's office. So I felt so cool already. And I was like, "So like, why did you start this or whatever?" And he was just like, we weren't that. We didn't know people. We didn't know our seniors. He was like, we were sending them out into the world, and I didn't get to pray over them or send them out individually or know them or hear their story. And I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. All of that to say, there was a woman in there who is like his personal secretary, and like they work together, and we're just talking about life, and she was just asking, "So what are you doing after high school?" And there's more to the story, but we got down to it, and I was like, "So I'm actually not going to college. LOL, not doing that." And they had previously talked to Ethan, and they were like, "Interesting." And I was like, "I started that trend first. Want you to know that. Whatever." Anyway, so then she was like, "That's so cool." And I was like, I just never felt this call. Like, I was just telling her, about my life and how I just never felt a push to go to college and what the Lord had for me in Brook Hill and the opportunities I had there. And, they pray over me. It was so sweet. And as we're leaving, the woman asked if she could talk to me personally. And I was like, sure. Like, I mean, I'm just like walking around school trying to go back to math. And she pulls me into this other area and sat down, and she started crying. And she was like, "I want you to know that you telling me that set me free." And she was like, "I dropped out of college my sophomore year of college." And she was like, "I never wanted to go to college." And she was like, "I always felt this shame, like I wasn't ever good enough, and that like my call and what I wanted to do." She was like, "I just wanted to get married to my husband, and now I got to stay home with my kids." And she was like, "I was so grateful for what I did." And she was like, "I want you to know that set me free." And I was crying. I was like, "That's amazing." Like, I was like, "That's so cool." But
my eyes out.
all of that to say, in your life, you never even know your testimony, whose life it's gonna change.
That's so true.
So anyway, just thought that would be really cool.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. That's what it's all about.
It
Yeah.
is. It's
about people,
and
loving
Hetty,
people.
loving people. And Hetty would always say, "Build your own Brook Hill."
Absolutely.
She would say, "Leave Brook Hill and build your." And she didn't mean like build a summer camp. She just meant make an impact
Absolutely.
through your area in your daily
Exactly.
lives. If we can
Absolutely.
remember that, we'll be fulfilling what Jesus calls to do.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
So cool.
Well, Inslee, thank you for being on. Olivia, thanks for co-hosting with me as
Thank
usual.
you.
Yeah.
We appreciate you watching the Brook Hill podcast.
Yeah.
Yay.
Don't forget your hydrated water bottle and your t-shirt and merch.
Yes.
Thanks for being with us.
Y'all are crazy.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. That was so fun.
Oh my goodness. That was so
That was fun, T. Finch.